Yeah, my name is Jan Liesegang. I'm a member of the architecture collective Raumlabor. And this is?
I am Sam Carvalho and I work for Raumlabor. With and for.
A lot of our work is not also about building or creating something, but it's also about building links in between people from different neighborhoods on a city scale level, or sometimes it's between theaters and the city surrounding them, or between the city center and the suburbs. So it's very often has to do with trying to make spaces of imagination, like trying to create talk about the city, which feels like a place of possibilities where everybody can participate, more than a city where you always have the feeling, there's a mayor and then there's this whole kind of administrational apparatus, and this is all kind of imposed on you. So this is maybe something specific about our work, I would say. Also the participation, that we try to work with people from different professions, or also just with people on the street, try to open the field of architecture to other people who didn't go to architecture school and who didn't go to this kind of still modernist education of an architect.
Architecture, and then with a very experimental and also one-to-one relationship, like social is kind of a hard word, but human approach, like person to person.
Raumlabor translate into space and laboratory. So it's also in German, it's not really a common word, but it's about space and experimentation, or space and research by doing. It's not like a theoretical research, mostly is a research by processing, by doing things. That's really hard to say, because I mean the first thing which maybe made Raumlabor was that I rented a space, which is not this space, but when I was still a student, and it was in 96, I think. So it was still in this transition time when there were a lot of open spaces in the former eastern part of the city, and also in the west, but it was suddenly everything was space-wise very relaxed, because so many people went away, and so it was in this very exciting time. And I happened to rent a space right in the center, in the most expensive place now, a small former fish shop, a Jewish fish shop, and it was quite cheap at that time to rent a commercial space, because everything was empty. Like basically all the commercial spaces, ground floors, were just empty. So we used that, and we renovated it, and then we did our diploma there, and there were already 4 of the people who are still Raumlabor, or 3, one who is not there anymore. They were already in that group, and then at some point we did the first, after we all graduated, we did this first competition. It was an ideas competition for public space next to where we are now, in Moritzplatz. We were asked to participate. It was without a prize. It was just a collection of ideas. It was really very, very off. And we did this work together, and then we were just a group of people. We thought, okay, we can't put all our names. We were so many, 5. So we said, we have to have a name. And then we had a name before, which was mit Herz, with heart, because this was written on the window, on the shop window. The shop window before was some kind of kiosk. I mean, and so there was this with heart, and so our first name was Wishard, and it was so kitschy that we somehow thought we can't become like very successful architects with this kind of name. And so we started to think about what name could make sense, and then it became Raumlabor. So this was also the first day maybe when we first said Raumlabor. This was around 99.
Okay, so that's where mid-hertz comes from. Now I know.
Still our password in the computers.
Yeah.
I mean, it started as a very open group, so it didn't really start as not at all professional. We were mostly, we were doing some competitions, we were doing bars, we also had a theater group. So we're doing different things together, and mostly in that space, and used that space also as a space for discussion. And it was on the ground floor, so it was very open, nicely renovated at the time. And yeah, and then I think at some point we were 5 or 6 maybe, and then some went away, and it became a bit more professional. We got our first commission for a town planning project, which was a bit of a long-term project. And then we were 5, and then we had some people working for us, like a second generation, always collaborating, being in the same space. And so at some point we asked them to, or they asked, I don't know, they just became part of Raumlabor. And then we were for a long time 8, and we still 8 now. We 8 again, like one passed away and one more came this year. I mean, first, it means that there's no hierarchy, I guess. I think ideally it would also mean that, yeah, everybody owns the same money, everybody has the same insurance, everybody, which is not the case in Raumlabor. We're very unorganized, we're just more like a group. So if we call ourselves collective, we almost make a compliment to ourselves. I mean, we are collective in terms of we have no hierarchy, everybody mostly does whatever he wants, but we still communicate about everything we do. But it's not that we say, or mostly we don't say, I mean, sometimes we also disagree, and then we have discussion, and we say, we can't do this, this is for the enemy, or this is too stupid. But mostly it's more that we talk about content and exchange ideas and try to keep this kind of creativity in between us. But this also includes all the people who work for us. I mean, it's also like the Raumlabor is not only the partners. This is maybe what Raumlabor is more like legally, but I think it's all the people who work for us. There's also some artists that work with us for a long time now. Lots of craftsmen, like carpenters, who almost exclusively work for Raumlabor. I think somehow they also part of Raumlabor. They don't call themselves, but
part of
they make things possible between
the family.
It's a bit of a family.
Not to say network. It's more like a family feeling, I guess, because the relationship is quite close. So
the process for us is very important. I mean, we were really, I think, almost all of us had worked in like really just normal architectural companies, or we also did some buildings, like private buildings. And what happens a lot in this architectural context is it's all about money. You know, and normally you are as an architect, you sit in your office, you deliver your plans, and then you give them to a company, and then some kind of fight starts, because then whenever you build something, it becomes complex and mistakes happen, and so the planning is never perfect. So the architect always feels like the one who's building is not really caring about the plans, and the guy who's building is always thinks that the architects are stupid because they don't know what's happening on a construction site. So it's basically all about conflicts and frustration, and we really try to. I mean, one thing why we started to work to build things ourselves was also this. I mean, we felt like if we want to have things just the way we desire them, it's much easier to also be involved in until the very end. I mean, this is obviously only possible in certain scales, and I think this also is possible because most or many of our projects are temporary projects. They're not like staying there for 100 years. So we work under this relatively big freedom, I think. I mean, very often we have commissions where we can, like formally or architecturally, we can almost do what we want. Yeah, we just invent something, and then the client say, yeah, that sounds interesting. This is a very nice condition, but this is in the same time a bit of architecture in the comfort zone of cultural production. I would say it's not building carports and high-rises.
Yeah.
Where and I mean, but I mean, I'm personally, I mean, also there's differences in our group. I'm personally really interested in trying to find ways how we can bring this methodology or the same spirit into bigger projects, and how we can also maybe build a school together with the students, or how we can build more permanent things with companies that kind of understand what our desires are and our design and also like it, and that we also understand what the company is able to do and how they can make it so that they make their money, and this kind of idea that it's not against each other, but it's somehow, and it's a fantastic thing, I think, somehow. I mean, as a general first idea to build a house together, I think, I mean, until 200 years ago, I think it was mostly that people would just come together in a village or city, they would build a house together, and now it turned into like a business plan kind of construction, which is very sad. And I think somehow we're also just trying to go back into this idea of that it's to do something together, build something together. It's a very satisfying, it's like creating a world. It's a very essential experience of humankind, I think.
Because,
That won't be a problem because it will be subtitled. It will be subtitled.
Okay, so it doesn't...
them too. But yeah, it's like what we're doing with you, the experience we're having together. I mean, it's great. We share everything, the highs and the lows, and yeah, you're not only building an object together, you're also building bonds between each other by doing this stuff together, and then you building a bond with also your structure. It's not like something that's been done by someone else, and then if something goes wrong, you have to call them. It really becomes something yours.
Typically there's two categories, I think, of projects. Ones which are quite very small and where you can just realize certain aspects of maybe your work, or like maybe they're all about creating one idea, one image, one kind of supporting something.
As sweet as roses in the morning, you to me, as soft as summer rain that don't give up a day. That something rare, the sidewalks in the street, the concrete and the clay beneath my feet begins to crumble, but love will never die, because we'll see the mountains tumble before we say goodbye, my love and I.